Welcome to the realm of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Enjoy listening. Tyler Blackwood had come to the Polo Space Colony to track down a mysterious map that had vanished from Earth. Reports suggested that the map, which revealed the locations of undiscovered minerals, was somewhere within the colony. However, despite reaching the colony, he had been unable to find it. The map had only recently surfaced, yet due to the incompetence of Earth's officials, it had been lost once again. The authorities at the Polo Space Colony claimed they had the map and welcomed anyone who trusted them to come and retrieve it. After much debate, Earth's committee chose Tyler Blackwood for the mission. He was strong, relentless, and had the demeanor of a warrior. Armed and prepared, he was sent into space to retrieve what had been lost. However, his search had been fruitless so far. He found himself in an eerily desolate area. As he scanned his surroundings, he spotted a river in the distance. Just as he began to move toward it, he heard a melodic voice, soft yet haunting. Tyler advanced cautiously, following the sound, until his eyes met those of a woman. She was bathing in the river, completely bare. The moment she noticed him, she swiftly grabbed a towel from around her neck and covered herself. Tyler averted his gaze, embarrassed. "I'm so sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to intrude." The woman simply bowed her head without responding. As the distance between them grew, her voice echoed through the water. "Wait." Tyler stopped and turned around. "What brings you here?" she asked. "Do you have any idea why I'm here?" he countered. She smiled knowingly. "The map? You're here for the map, aren't you?" He gave her a slight nod. "If you had come just a few minutes earlier, I could have helped you," she said. "But I came here to cleanse myself of my sins. If I betray my colony by revealing their secrets, I will be tainted once more." Tyler raised a brow. "Cleansing your sins in a river? What kind of sin did you commit?" "I was with a man who was not my husband," she admitted. "In our colony, that is the gravest sin one can commit. Sinners come here, wearing only a towel and underwear to cleanse themselves." Tyler scoffed. "I've heard a lot of ridiculous things in my time, but this takes the prize. So you can't help me then?" She hesitated before saying, "Maybe under one condition." Intrigued, Tyler stepped closer. "If you take me to Earth and let me stay there, I'll tell you where the map is." Tyler crossed his arms. "I can arrange that. But how do you even know where the map is? Aren't you just another colonist?" The woman laughed. "Let's just say I'm not as ordinary as I seem. So, do we have a deal?" Tyler nodded. As she walked past him, she added, "Oh, and one more thing, don't ever tell anyone you saw me naked. Otherwise, I'll betray you first." He smirked but said nothing. Together, they moved through the dark alleys of Polo Colony. She led him to an old storage facility. "Wait here," she whispered. "If I get caught, no one can know you're involved." Leaning against the wall, Tyler watched her disappear into the shadows. There was something about her movements, careful yet confident. She was no ordinary colonist, that much was certain. Inside the colony's headquarters, Fuxa slipped into a private chamber belonging to her brother, Commander Rex. He was a high-ranking officer in Polo's security forces, but she knew his habits well. She suspected the map would be locked in one of his drawers. Using a fingerprint override she had secretly obtained while he slept, she bypassed the security measures and opened the drawer. A small holographic device shimmered inside. The map. Grabbing it swiftly, she made her way back to Tyler. "Let's go," she said breathlessly. They moved swiftly, avoiding detection, and finally reached Tyler's ship. As they took off, Tyler studied her curiously. "How did you get in so easily?" She smiled faintly. "Because I'm not just any colonist. I'm a fugitive. My people see me as a threat." Tyler raised an eyebrow, but refrained from asking further. When they landed on Earth, they were met by a massive crowd. Tyler was immediately surrounded by reporters and officials who cheered for his success. He stood tall, the map in his hand, hailed as a hero. Meanwhile, Fuxa remained silent at his side, feeling like an outsider. As he glanced at her, Tyler realized he owed her a great deal. "Come to dinner with me tonight," he said suddenly. She hesitated, then smirked. I suppose you've earned it. That evening, they dined at an elegant restaurant. Tyler had felt drawn to her from the moment they met, but now, in the glow of candlelight, he finally admitted it. I've been interested in you since I first saw you, he said. Fuxa arched an eyebrow, a playful smile forming. Oh, is that so? He nodded. I want to know more about you. She twirled her fork between her fingers. Maybe, she mused, if you give me a good massage and impress me, I'll consider it. Tyler chuckled. Deal. After dinner, they returned to her temporary residence. She lay down on the couch, stretching. All right, she teased. Show me what you've got. Tyler placed his hands on her shoulders and began massaging, pressing his fingers into the tense muscles. As he worked his way down her back, she let out a soft sigh, her body relaxing under his touch. Not bad, she murmured. He continued, his fingers tracing slow, deliberate paths along her spine. Her breathing deepened. After long silence, Fuxa leaned back against the couch and opened her eyes. Well, she said, a mischievous glint in her gaze, you've exceeded my expectations. Tyler leaned in slightly, his eyes searching hers. Fuxa closed the gap between them, pressing a soft kiss to his lips. What started gentle quickly grew deeper. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window. Fuxa stirred, turning to see Tyler still sleeping soundly beside her. She studied his peaceful face, feeling an unfamiliar warmth bloom in her chest. She slipped out of bed and walked to the window. A new day had begun, but she couldn't shake the question in her mind. Did she truly belong here? She had fled Polo Colony, abandoned everything she knew. But last night had changed something within her. Behind her, Tyler stirred. He found her standing by the window and moved to wrap his arms around her waist. What are you thinking about? He murmured. She sighed. I don't know if this world is really mine. He turned her toward him. Come with me. I want to show you something. Hand in hand, they walked through the city. When people saw them, whispers spread. Cameras flashed. Tyler led her to the heart of the city square, where hundreds of people gathered to celebrate his return. Stepping forward, he raised his voice for all to hear. I'm honored to be here today, he began, but I want to introduce you to the real hero. Without her, the map would have never been recovered. She's not just a guest, she's my future. She will be my wife. Silence. Then an eruption of applause. Fuxa turned to him in shock. He met her gaze, his expression unwavering. The crowd around them erupted into cheers and applause, but she barely heard any of it. Her mind was spinning. He had just declared her as his future wife in front of an entire city. Was he serious? Did he really mean it, or was this just a spontaneous attempt to secure her place on Earth? She searched his eyes for any trace of hesitation, but there was none. Tyler stood tall, his fingers gently squeezing hers, as if to reassure her. Tyler, she whispered, barely audible over the roar of the crowd. What are you doing? He leaned in slightly, his voice low and steady. Giving you a reason to stay. A reason to stay. She had spent so much time running, hiding, trying to find a place where she truly belonged. Could this be it? Could Tyler be that place for her? Before she could respond, reporters swarmed around them, cameras flashing wildly, microphones thrust forward. Miss Fuxa, how does it feel to be part of this historic moment? One journalist asked eagerly. Did you ever expect to find love while escaping your colony? Another questioned. Fuxa felt overwhelmed. She wasn't used to this kind of attention. On Polo Colony, she was just a fugitive, a troublemaker, a woman who had broken sacred laws. But here, she was something else entirely. Tyler's arm slipped around her waist protectively. All right, that's enough for now, he said firmly. She's been through a lot. Without waiting for further questions, he guided her away from the flashing cameras and into a waiting car. As soon as the doors shut, muffling the sounds of the outside world, Fuxa exhaled heavily. I don't know what to say, she admitted. You just told an entire planet that I'm going to marry you. Tyler chuckled softly, turning to face her. Would it be so bad? She blinked at him. I don't know. I never thought about it. Well, he said, a playful smile tugging at his lips. Maybe it's time you did? The following days were a whirlwind. Tyler took her around the city, showing her the wonders of Earth, from towering skyscrapers to lush, sprawling parks. Everything was so different from Polo Colony. Livelier, more chaotic, but also freer. There were no strict laws governing her actions, no watchful enforcers waiting to punish her for every mistake. Still, doubt lingered in her mind. One evening, as they walked along the beach, she finally voiced her concerns. "Tyler, why are you doing all of this?" He stopped walking and turned to her. "What do you mean?" "This whole proposal thing. The press, the speeches, the grand gestures. It's all so sudden. Are you just trying to secure my safety here, or do you actually want this?" Tyler studied her for a long moment before responding. "Fucksa, I didn't plan for any of this. When I first saw you in that river, I thought you were just another obstacle in my mission. But then I got to know you. You're smart, strong, and fearless. You took a huge risk helping me, and I respect that. But more than anything," he hesitated, his voice softening, "I like being around you. I don't want you to disappear." Fux's chest tightened at his words. "You don't even know if I'm right for this world." "Maybe not," Tyler admitted, "but I'd rather figure that out together than let you go." The sincerity in his voice made her heart race. She had spent so long believing she was meant to be alone that her past sins had doomed her to a life of solitude. But now, there was this man standing before her, offering her something she had never dared to dream of, a future. The wedding, when it finally happened, was unlike anything Fuxa had ever seen. Human traditions were strange, but beautiful. She wore a dress of shimmering silver, a nod to her extraterrestrial heritage, while Tyler stood beside her in a sleek black suit. Officials, scientists, and politicians attended, eager to witness the union between an Earth hero and an alien outsider. As they stood together before the officiant, Tyler reached for her hand. "Are you ready?" he asked with a grin. Fuxa took a deep breath. For the first time in her life, she wasn't running. She wasn't hiding. She was exactly where she wanted to be. "Yes," she said, squeezing his hand. "I am." As they exchanged vows, she realized something. She had been searching for a place to belong, and she had finally found it. Not on Polo Colony, not on Earth, but with him. And so, hand in hand, they stepped into their new life together, ready to face whatever the universe had in store.